It's not an official race, by the way, so don't worry. Let me check. Right, can you talk real quick? Can you say something?
Hello. Sorry, that was a bit.
Yes. You are audible on stream. All right. Where I'm, let's gonna send it. Alright, good evening everyone, and welcome to a bit of a different race tonight. We were supposed to have the Tier 3 race as per usual every Thursday night at 8 PM UK time, but unfortunately the EA servers were down a bit before the race had started, so we made the decision to cancel the race, and just after we cancelled the race, the servers went back on again. So then the drivers decided to host their own lobby and host an unofficial race. So that's what we're going to do now. And I'm very excited. And I'm not alone tonight. Alongside me is my good friend Jamie, also known as Indigo. How are you doing?
Very good, mate. Thank you for the introduction there, and I'm very looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, we have 4 detection points around here, so which increases the chances of overtaking as well. So we've seen that plenty of times heading down towards turn on the turn 10. That's Sergio Perez as well. Oscar Piastri going around the outside of turn on the turn 10. I'm glad they got rid of that slow chicane there in turn 8 and turn 9, made it more better for racing. Of course, this track's been modified heavily in its past history. It is back as the season opener in Formula 1 as well, and what a season opener that was, Milan Langer.
Absolutely, most chaotic race I have ever seen as a season opener, with rain, dry, everything you would have wanted in a race happened in that race, and a lot of drivers who wouldn't expect it to score points did score points, and Lando Norris getting home the victory only by 8-10, so for Max Verstappen, with many safety cars, many neutralizations, absolute carnage. But we absolutely love to see it, and what a way to kick off the season. Hopefully it is a sign of things to come later on down the line in the season, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed as well. Let's see if McLaren can keep up their good pace. Let's see if Red Bull can come back. But we've got Ben Waddy on a lap time now as he makes his way down towards turn 1, using the curb on the inside there. Very nicely. That's where Valtteri Bottas and also Liam Lawson went off down at turn 2 as well with Isaac Hadjar. Heading towards turn 3 and turn 4, then these slow speed corners before we get back on the throttle but lose the back end of the car. Heading towards turn 6 where we saw Sebastian Vettel and Robert Kubica make contact here back in 2009. It was in the BMW Sauber, and also as here comes Ben Waddy then through turn 6. The latest to crash there is Fernando Alonso, and ironically as well, George Russell crashed the year before. Russell claimed he brake tested him, but now Alonso's crashed in the same place. Here comes Bentley Waddy then towards turn 9 and turn 10. Let's see, can he keep it up as he has multiple steering adjustments there, as he keeps it pinned in 8th gear there, as you see him utilising every single part of the racetrack. So nicely hooked up then in the centre. Confidence, full of speed is the RB driver. Heading down towards this heavy braking zone, we saw Verstappen lock up on the inside there, had to go off wide and pick up a bit of pod on his way as well. Piastri overtook him for 2nd place. Now coming towards 13, it all kicked off for the home hero of Oscar Piastri, unfortunately in the home crowd, but Piastri still kept going to finish in P9. Ben Waddy had a massive moment outside of the final corner. Here he is.
A 116.6, that's got to be the first lap I'm on board. Yesterday in Tier 1, the 115.1 was pole position. Now, of course, I'm not going to get anywhere near that. But let's see if we can get into the 115s. We know Ben Waddy, it was not his best lap time. He's actually a Tier 6 driver before this. He got moved up to Tier 4 a few moments ago as Jumpy Painter jumps up to P1. And already into the 115 we go. A 150.7 ahead of Boyer and Skoker, also setting his lap time in P4, only managing a 117. Right now lap time start coming in. Nexus in the Red Bull, he goes up at the 2nd place. Jumpy Painter, we know if you watch the Tier 3 teams, he is a very handy driver in qualifying. He has been on pole before, and last week in Jeddah absolute chaotic race in Tier 3, where he fumbled the win on the final lap, getting himself a 3-second time penalty and getting overtaken. But he was on the front row alongside his teammate. Him and Soul Demon, they were the mans on top in the Tier 3 championship, so I would expect them to be near the front of the field as well. Soul Demon unfortunately losing the championship lead after last week's race, where he crashed out famously from pole position at the turn 4 in Jeddah. Very easy to crash out there. He's on the lap now as well in that kick sour. Let's see what he can do as he goes into the second sector, 44.1. Not sure if that is comparable to his teammate right now. The two McLarens, Boren and Tolu, they're not McLaren drivers in the season right now, but I think some of them picked cars that they wanted to drive in. As Soul Demon, he's almost getting held up there by a Haas, but he gets out of the way in time as he makes his way now into the penultimate corner. Very tricky on throttle as well as the final corner. Can very easily snap the corner, if you saw with the V-cup of Ben Wally a few moments ago. Soul Demon is going to go across the line. His first lap time, 1:16.1, just under 4/10 behind his teammate right now.
Yeah, so it's a kick Sauber 1-2 there, as Nico Hulkenberg did a fantastic job in the Sauber as well in Australia. Picked up 7th place, outscored both Ferraris as they mucked up their usual strategy in the wet conditions as well. So yeah, Nico Hulkenberg and his new team already scoring more points than Sauber did throughout the whole of last season. Also as well, I don't think we mentioned this so far, but as well as there's a bit of a London track with Truge coming towards the line now, is going to be a 60.9. Unfortunately, the passing of Eddie Herb, sorry about that. Eddie Jordan, sorry. The passing of Eddie Jordan happened this morning. The sad passing, unfortunately, a legend to the motorsport as well. Brandon Jordan, of course, introduced fantastic drivers like Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, Martin Brundle, and we've got as well Heinz Howard Benson and Rubens Barrichello. I think I already mentioned him, but yeah, it's a sad passing for Eddie Jordan. One of the fantastic characters in the paddock as well, made his way up to the field, had a few good wins as well in the Jordan team. Their last win came at the Brazilian Grand Prix, I think, when they had that massive moments with everybody. Fernando Alonso, Mark Webber crashing in the same place as Alonso collected the tyre of Webber's that day. Rubens Barrichello not scored either because I think he had a problem or spun out of the Grand Prix. So did Michael Schumacher. A lot of people spun out of the Grand Prix as well, but what a legend. He was after F1, he became a broadcaster for ITV, I think it was, and Channel 4, which is still running, presented by Alex Jakes and David Coulthard and the rest of them. But yeah, just want to mention Eddie Jordan there for the fantastic did a fantastic life for him, did a fantastic job monitoring the Jordan team as well. Now I think it's Aston Martin's team, because obviously it's based in the UK, but yeah, rest in peace, Eddie Jordan, a fantastic, wonderful legend of the F1 community, and I really am upset because I didn't even know about. I don't think none of us do. I think he was kept it quiet, but yeah, that's it then for Eddie Jordan, and yeah, rest in peace, and over to you, Milan.
Exactly, absolute legend of the sport. His legacy will remain, but he's done so much. Very sad to see him passing indeed. So rest in peace to the former team owner of Jordan that existed between 1991 and 2005. As we go back to the qualifying session, Basic Beetle, also known as Leon, in the Mercedes right now. He's gone up to P8, 1.2 seconds behind the kick Sauber of Jumpy Painter. TXT in the Haas is also on a lap. Same goes for Lemon in the Visa Cash App RB and Zaro in the Aston Martin. 3 drivers who haven't set their lap time yet are currently on an attempt to do so. And Zaro is going to be first of those to complete their lap time. 44.3, I think, is not a bad second sector. But I think Soul Demon did a 0.1, if I remember correctly, a few moments ago as he heads into the final sector. So McLaren up ahead, hopefully not going to get into his way. No, he is not. Same for the Mercedes there. So what can the Aston Martin driver do as he makes his way into the penultimate corner? And now he hooks the inside curb and into the final corner. DRS open, run to the line, 4 DRS zones. This is only one of them as the Aston Martin driver goes to the top. No, not to the top, but 116.7 puts him just ahead of his teammate Zelix and TXT. And both himself and Lemon, they are about to cross the line as well. Let's see what the Haas driver can do. He's going to be in 116, not quite, 117. Puts him right ahead of his teammate. And then Lemon in the V-Carb, who has hosted this lobby. What can he do? On his first attempt, he goes up to P6, also just ahead of his teammate.
we got Nexus on the flying lap. He was up in the first sector, but down slightly as he ran out wide in the exit turn 11 then, so he might have lost himself a little bit of time as he gets close, as he's back in the pit lane, so he's reported that he is not happy at all with that lap time in Nexus. We're halfway into qualified already then, so there's still plenty of chances to improve, but this track is very difficult as well, especially the first and last sectors, and turn on and turn 10 can be a very difficult one as well. As we head down towards the slow speed corner where we saw, I think it was Gabriel Bortoletto crash, but look at that massive wheel spin there for Beyond as he applies the throttle with the DRS wide open. Can he get himself towards the top? I think he can. Can he? Oh no, he can't. So 16.0 and he puts himself into P2, so he splits both Sauber drivers. Great attempt there from the McLaren driver, as elsewhere I've seen a lot of people invalidate their lap times as well, so the majority of them are backing off or goes to pit lane. But I hope Zero is coming in a flying lap there as he makes his way towards the final corner. Hasn't set a lap time just yet, but he's about to change all of that as he powers that Alassian Williams all the way down to the start finish straight, and it's P4 only, P14 sorry, only for that Williams man, as elsewhere we've got Scott on the track. Here's one in the Ferrari, I believe he joined late.
He did, so he is going to attempt to set his first lap on board. 3 drivers remain without a lap time himself, Rostock and Super SC. As I have also seen someone else was on a lap, not sure. Ben Wally is on the lap as well. He's in P7 right now. He's up by half a tenth of a second through the first sector. He's currently a second off. But we know that he's just been promoted to Tier 4 and he's already inside the top 7, doing quite a good job with Tier 4 drivers and Tier 3 drivers in this lobby, as he goes a bit wide and he makes a bit of a mess of the turn 9-10 chicane, so I think he will lose a little bit more time with that. Let's take a look at Scorter then. He's in the final sector. What can he do in the Ferrari, the sole Ferrari in this session, as he makes his way into the penultimate corner, now into the final corner. The Ferrari driver powers out, deploys DRS, run to the line. Is it going to be 116? Not quite. 117.188 is going to put him in P14, as Martin in the chat already loving the commentary. I'd love to hear that. Thank you very much. And I'm also enjoying this right now. As S12 is on outlap. We've got 7 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that's a great effort there from Ben Willie to put himself into P7. His RB, sorry, we just watched a forward, didn't we? So he's up into P7 now, just behind his teammate. The kick Sauber is coming out as well for his potential last run, but he's still very early in these qualified sessions. Remember, this track is very short, so you can do about 4 or 5 laps extra if you want, not like Singapore or Belgium, where it's a very long track indeed, and you have the minimum runs. Here comes Bjorn now, coming out of turn number 2 we go, where we saw Valtteri Bottas crash, and Isaac Hadjo, unfortunately. Down into towards turn 3 now, between the McLaren, as he makes his way very nicely out of turn 4, heading towards turn 5, just lifts off the throttle, back on the power as soon as the car straights off, flat out to this kink of turn 6 now, just preparing for turn 7 and turn 8, because they come at you thick and fast, arrive and drive out of the corner, but unfortunately he's a few hundreds down in the first sector. Can he make it up in the middle sector? Although the middle sector is just basically a straight, that's why Alex Albon and Williams were quickest there a few seasons ago, because that straight line speed was very slippery indeed. But here comes Bjorn now, coming towards the end of the final sector. It's going to be a 44.1, and unfortunately the McLaren driver has lost pace, and I don't think he can do anything about it unless he can find that time back in the final sector. He can't make or break this final sector, because it's all about getting the follow out time, carrying the speed through that, lose the back of the car. And once again, unfortunately, for the McLaren, the back end of the car just seems to snatch away from him, and he definitely abandons that lap time now. I wonder, will he head back in the pit lane, or... Yeah, he's got to now. There's no really choice for him, unless he hasn't, of course. Let's see if he has. Yes, he has. So he's back in the pit lane then. So the only driver that hasn't set a lap time just yet on the board is Shush Football in 18th place.
Yeah, running on board with the Alpine, 27.2 in the first sector. As he makes his way out of the second sector, as you just mentioned, is basically a straight, with one very tricky right-hander before where you can very easily invalidate or run into the gravel, as we've seen in real life. It's also in the feeder series, getting a gravel onto the track. Now, 45.1, it's not the best middle sector we've seen. We've seen a 44.1 before, so he's currently already a second in disadvantage. Himself and Rostock, the only 2 drivers remaining to set a lap time. The Mercedes is also on a lap time, so we'll keep an eye out on him in a second. The Alpine, though, is making his way in the final sector, and let's see what he can do. 2 corners remaining as he keeps it a bit tight. Misses the apex slightly and sliding around in the final corner as well, so he's struggling with grip, and he's going to come across the line, and a 118.1 is going to put him in 17th. And slowest of all currently And now we look at Roosdog in the Mercedes. What can he do? He's got a Williams, I think, up ahead, who is going to get out of the way by completely going into the gravel in the back. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but oh well. He gets out of the way nicely for the Mercedes, makes the path clear to try and get through this final sector. What can he do as he rounds the final corner? His teammate right now is up into 11th place. What can Roosdog do? His first lap on the board with only 4 minutes remaining. A 1:17.7 puts him just ahead of Joshua C and just behind Skolkiter. So now everyone has set a lap time. We've only got 4 minutes remaining, so 1 or 2 runs for everyone. Let's see what they can do, as Lemon in the V-Cup is improving by a few hundreds. Crosses the line, doesn't improve.
Yeah, I did see that the battle set, I was on board with him, and as he lost the car slightly on approach towards turn 13 and turn 12, so he lost the majority of the time in the particular part of the track where it's very difficult. As Sol Dixon, I think, is currently the flying left, so let's see what the Sauber driver could do. Can he take pole away from his own teammate, or make it a Sauber 1-2? As we make our way down towards turn 3 and turn 4, we go very nicely there. Used very nice on the throttle as well, no signs of the rear stepping out. Flat out through turn 6, no problems all there, although Astrad doing, because he did crash unfortunately in Australia. But here comes Sol now, the back in the car, just snapping away from him ever so slightly, but it shouldn't cost him too much time, as the DRS then will be enabled for the King Sauber to power his all the way down towards the high speed chicane of turn 9 and turn 10. It is breathless through here as well. You're super quick, arrive and drive out of the corner in 7th gear, no signs of dabbing on the brake, and there is an RB right in front of us giving him a decent tow as well. So that helps Sol Dixon promote himself up the order as we head down towards turn 11, utilise up the curb on the exit as well. Coming towards turn 12, just a slight lift up and he takes it flat out, as now we're coming towards turn 13 and turn 14. Then it can be very difficult with the brakes as well. It's so easy to lock the rear brakes going towards that corner because you're braking and turning at the same time. Here comes Sol Dixon then with the King Sauber. As he crosses the line now, he stays in P3 but doesn't improve.
He does improve by only a few hundredths of a second, but is unable to improve on his position. And with 2 minutes 25 seconds remaining, I think that might be his final attempt, as it's not going to be enough time for him to come back into the pit lane. So he might just be stuck to P3 or lower, depending on everyone else. But the two Aston Martins and Ben Wally, they're all on invalidated lap time right now. Skorter, he is on a lap as well, but he's also not improving through the first sector. It's quite overcast around the Albert Park Street circuit right now, but no rain in sight as far as I'm concerned. We got 2 minutes remaining. Jumpy Painter, Boyer, Nexus and Swoosh there, they're all out on the out lap now. Nexus has started his lap, scored is 2/10 down on his lap time. So let's take a look at the Red Bull. What can he do? He's currently half a second down on Jumpy Painter's pole lap time, who still hasn't been beaten. It's his first and only lap time from Jumpy Painter, and he's still 3/10 clear of anyone else in this qualifying session as the Red Bull makes his way through turn 4 on the exit. Keep it within white lines and flat out through the kink of turn 5. Roosdog has retired through the session. He is in P17 right now as Nexus. He's on improvement, 1/10 up through the first sector. There's now to turn 6 and 7, keeps it nicely within the white lines, runs a little bit wide now through turn 8, not hugging the inside line with the grass there, as you now on the second or third DRS racer. Ben Wally's also retired, he's down in P8. Nexus is lost a little bit of time, but he's still up on his time. He goes a little bit wide though through turn 9, but keeps it nice and tight on the exit of turn 10 as he now makes his way into the final sector. Final DRS straight until the finish line. Turn 11, very tricky with the curb on the inside and on the outside as well. Turn 12, you have to be careful with the curb on the inside. That can catch you out quite easily as well through turn 13. And the final corner will be turn 14. Can he find a way to jump maybe up onto the first row ahead of Soul Demon? Nexus across the line, he improves, not quite, 3 thousandths down on his time. And that will be P4 only. Jumpy Painter, he's made a bit of a mess. He's not up on his time. He won't be improving either. And Boyern has invalidated as well, so it's all kicking off here.
Yeah, very intense towards the end of the qualifying because everybody knows it's their last lap. All the pressure will be ramping on. You're trying to over-push the car as True Story goes into P4, the Williams. What a great lap time from him, just popping that Williams out of nowhere to put it in P4. I think we've still got other people on their flying laps as well, but on the other side of the track. Good on board with Lions there in the Alpine. He's currently a 10th up. In the first sector, I think his main target tonight is just try and get himself inside the top 10, but there's no target because it's unofficial. So here comes then Lights with the DRS wide open then. Let's see his little sector split. Can he beat it? He can by a 10th and a bit of a second. He needs to keep this up if he wants to find himself of a chance inside the top 10 then as he makes his way down towards that famous corner. Turn 11 we go, hard on the brakes there, down to the gears, into third, back to the throttle as soon as the car is rotated there. Then this should be easy now in these flat out modern day Formula 1 cars, as here comes in the penultimate corner in turn 13 and turn 14. Let's see what the RP driver could do as he has the DRS wide open on the back of the house. Here comes Lights then, across the line he goes. Can he get himself inside the top 10? Ooh. He can, and he goes into P7 there. Great effort there. We've still got Tulo, who's cutting the fly up as well. Couldn't quite see his intermediate split because somebody joined and left the posse as we head down towards turn 11 we go. So let's see if Tolo can promote himself up through the pecking order, and let's see then what he can do. What does he have to offer? What does he have to offer in the last few qualifying stages, as qualifying has commenced, so it is over. But the McLaren driver is heading towards the final corner now. Him and the likes in P12 there, the only drivers who are still out there on the flying lap. Here comes Tolo. He crosses the line but stays in P6 there, unfortunately for him, but just behind Nexus. And I believe that's done and dusted qualifying. We can move on to the 29 lap race of Milan, even though it's my first time here, and it's working well so far. I think we're doing a really good job.
Yeah, I agree totally. We work together quite often, and today is no different in my opinion. But that is then the end of qualifying. Jumpy Painter, with only 1 lap time, really has put it on pole position by 0.3 of a second over Born, Soul Demon, Tour Stereo, all tier 3 drivers. Nexus, I think, is tier 4, I'm not quite sure. Tolu and Lennons, they're also tier 3. Lemon, he is tier 4 driver for sure. So is Ben Wally on his debut in tier 4. Unofficial debut, must be said, but he's only 1/10 of a tier 4 driver. He's doing a very good job, must be said. Skulker inside the top 10 as well. Good job for him. Then the 2 Aston Martins, Basic Beetle, TXC Scorder, Bahamut Zero, Rush, Shashupal FC, and Rostock. That's the entire top 18 within 2 seconds of each other. The gaps are usually quite small in tier 3, but now it's a bit of a mixed grid with tier 3 and tier 4 drivers, so the gaps can be a little bit bigger. But Jumpy Painter has done enough to put himself on pole position, so we can now prepare ourselves for the race. And I'm not sure if we have to wait a few minutes if they are going to organize that, but we will find out quite soon. And it's much sunnier for the race right now, as the clouds have seemed to disappear a little bit, and the track will be a little bit more warmer as well.
Yeah, more grip as well, because the track was quite green in that qualified session. We see plenty of people just lose at the back end of the car as well on entry. And let's see then what happens in this race. I think the strategy around here is normally mediums to hards, but anything can change, of course. We've got a high chance of a safety car around here because it is a difficult track indeed. So safety cars might come into play depending where and what tyre you are on at the time as well. So be very careful to have your wits about you as well. People in the hards, hoping the safety car came out much later, the people in mediums, or I dare say soft, but that probably won't be used in the squad because it deteriorates very quickly. But yeah, it depends what strategy you go for. If you're on the medium compound tyres, you want the safety car to come about lap 11, lap 12 to the hard towards the end. If you're on the hard compound tyre, well, it's about 17, 18 laps to hit the mediums towards the end as well. So we'll see if the safety car comes out, but hopefully we have a really good battle, because I know you said last week in China that it went all the way down to the wire. There was battles absolutely everywhere, and I cannot wait to kickstart my commentating with you here, Milan. I think it's going to go really well between us.
Absolutely agree. We have worked together before, like I said, and it's going really well in my opinion. So I am enjoying it as well, and looking forward to do this more often with you as well. So as we ahead of this race, medium, hard, hard, medium, that seems to be the strategy. Yesterday in tier 1, I started on the medium compound tire, but we got 2 safety cars that race, so it's a bit of a didn't work out as planned. As my race didn't work out as planned. This is a nice way to describe my race. I got taken out twice, but let's not talk too much about that. But mediums to hards should be the normal strategy, or hards to mediums, depending on what you're most comfortable in. If you start on the hards, you'll have to stay with the medium runners in the beginning of this race and then have the advantage near the end. But you want to pit early. The undercut is quite powerful around it because of those 4 DRS zones. So that is a bit of a predicament. So at the moment we see most of the drivers on the medium compound tire. I would expect them to be, as you want to be quick off the line and don't fall out of the DRS train. The first 2 on the hards are the Aston Martin drivers right now. I think we are going ready in a minute's time, so with a little bit of time to prepare. But I'm sure this is going to be an interesting. Australia is a very good track for battling, although it can get quite tricky with the wall so close around. But I'm sure we're up for an exciting race.
Indeed we are. Turn 9 and turn 10 can be a bit difficult as well, because if you get dragged out wide on the curb, you're guaranteed to go off the track and cost you a few places as well. So be very careful in turn 9 and turn 10 as well. Track limits can be brutal out here as well. We've seen it plenty of times in other races as well. Did I say track position?
Track limits.
Oh, track limits, yeah, sorry. Track limits has been a big issue as well. We saw that in qualifying where a lot of people were suffering as well, trying to stay within the white line. So it's going to be an interesting one. People with these penalties could find themselves catapulted up the order, because that's what generally happens when somebody's like in the midfield or they just can't seem to get anywhere. People ahead of them pick up 3-second penalties, and therefore you can benefit as well. So we'll see then if who can keep the penalties to a minimum. And the Australian Grand Prix in real life, we haven't really talked about that. What a season opener. I am glad Australia is back on the first race to Canada, of course, after 2019. When it was Austria and Bahrain. Bahrain also held the opening season as well in 2010 with that long layout. But Australia has always been a very good track as well. It's always nice to come to Australia because of the...
Here we go.
Sorry.
We're going to go ready for the 5 red lights as the 2 Saubers and the McLaren in between of them. The 5 red lights, they're out. And we are on the way for the unofficial Australian Grand Prix. Bourne has got an excellent start and he's already jumped. Jumpy Painter, Rostock isn't being, well, that's a bit of a glitch, but Bourne has taken the lead in the turn 1, goes wide onto the grass. And Jumpy Painter around the outside retakes the lead of this race. Bourne is bottled in the turn 1 as Nexus is going to have a look as well. And the 2 Saubers now out in front with Swoosh Terry up the inside as we go wheel to wheel, almost contact. And Nexus trying to have it go to the inside, and he does get past there. Good start from the Red Bull driver. He's up into net P3. Rostock is not sure where he is, but that's a bit glitch. We'll ignore that for now. Hopefully we'll get fixed on the next step. But the 2 Saubers in front as Bourne all the way down to P5 after a drama start. He took the lead. He was very quick off the line, but he went wide for turn 1 as the virtual safety car has been deployed, because Just Football SC I think has found the barrier just like Jack Doohan did, and he's got damage to the front wing, so already a neutralization in this race.
Yeah, it's a shame for Bjorn in P5 because he took the lead immediately. They just seemed to have lost his confidence a bit. Out of turn number 2, he just got bogged down left, right, centre. He went from P1 down into P5 with his teammate just behind as well. So we get to talk about the tyre strategies while this VSC has came out there. So majority on the medium compound tyres, as you would expect. A few going for the longer strategy. They try and get the medium compound tyres towards the end to catch up to your rivals then. So the VSC has been deployed. No safety car. And Sainz picked in. Oh, there's a massive problem out of the final corner. Jumpy Painter almost lost it. Now his kick-Sauber teammate will take advantage. Here comes the Red Bull as well. Are they about to make a 3 abreast on the straight? We're about to find out they can't because one of them's ghosted inside of each other. But here comes the Red Bull to split up both kick-Saubers. And he does that with a bit of a twitch out of turn 1 as well. So he's up into P2. Nexus, fantastic so far. Great attacking and defending as well. He started on the P5. He's looking for the lead of the Grand Prix. Here comes the Williams. Oh, he spun. The Williams are trying to spun there. There was no room on the inside to go for that move, unfortunately, and he had to pay the price.
Oh, that is very unfortunate indeed for Torstar. He had such a good start, got up to podium position, but then made the move and there wasn't room for him, and he unfortunately has spun out. As we take a look back at the front end of the field, Nexus once again trying to have a go at Jumpy Painter. Will he have the TRS? I think he will, as he opens the rear wing. He's now going to go alongside of Jumpy Painter. You don't want to go side by side to the chicane, as Soul Demon is also having a go at his team, and as the 2 Saubers almost go wheel to wheel. Jumpy Painter stays ahead of Soul Demon for now, as Nexus now has taken the lead of this race with a brilliant move, as the 2 Saubers are left fighting it out with each other going into turn 11. But they're not going to do that too much. Jumpy Painter ahead of Soul Demon. Then it's the 2 McLarens. Bourne back up at the P4 after 2 Terry had his moment. Dodo in P5 holding on as well. Then it's Lemon Lennons. Zyro Carnator, who started at the back of the grid, I think. He's up to P9 on the hard compound tire, but he's not within the DRS range, unfortunately, of the cars in front. And Skullcutter started 10th, is still in 10th. But Nexus has taken the lead, sets the fastest lap of the race. But I can imagine we're going to see these cars swapping around, as we always see around Australia.
Yeah, these guys just swapping and changing the bit. And here comes the kick-Sauber then down the inside in towards turn 4. He doesn't make a stick, he locks up, goes a bit wide, but still keeps it on the road and also takes first place away. But a massive snap of oversteer. The exit of turn 5 then as he applied the throttle going out the corner, but too much torque or just massive wheel spin as Jumpy now heads towards turn 6 and turn 7. This is going to get hectic indeed because we see the DRS is so powerful on this track. We can see some double overtakes and double shuffle here. Jumpy though, is still in first place, but Nexus is doing a good job, you know, keeping the Sauber baby can whilst having the DS at the back of him. He has to slow down, and now they go side by side in towards turn 9. Jumpy Painter responds with a fantastic defense around the outside in towards turn 6 as Bjorn gets past Sol Dixon. As we head down towards turn 11 we go, the side by side first. Sol Dixon just later backs off. There's a spin in the background. That is I Am the Lemon, who's gone for a spin. I'm not quite sure if we made contact with TTV Zyro, but we'll see if he did or not. But unfortunately he's dropped backwards.
I think there's a bit of contact between himself, Lennons, and Zyro, and also totally getting almost put into the wall by Sol Demons. A bit hectic into turn 11, but we have remained pointing in the right direction, fortunately enough. On to lap 4 we go. Jumpy Painter now in the lead, ahead of Nexus and Born, with Sol Demon has dropped down to P4 because of that. As here comes Born on the Red Bull as well. He's going to go up to second place, trying to make up from his loss at the start of this race. Will to will we go, but Nexus is able to stay in front, late from the brakes, and is still up the inside. And he got ahead then, ahead of Sol Demon, who is trying to have a go at Born now as well, almost running wide as he hits the inside curb. Yellow flags are out in the first sector. I'm not sure who is for, but Jumpy Painter's got a bit of an advantage now, 7-10, so it should be safe for Nexus, at least on this straight. But they will have the DRS. Here comes Born now on the inside of the Red Bull, and he is going to go back up to the second place. Here comes the other McLaren as we almost go 3 wide, and that is Toto with a double overtake. What a move! Almost contact as we go into the wall there with Nexus and Sol Demon, but Toto for P5 up into P3, the winner of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix last week with an amazing move, putting himself into P3 behind his teammate.
And unfortunately, Sol Dixon has dropped off dramatically as well. Ever since Jumpy Pay got re-overtaken him, he's went from P1 down to P5. They got swallowed up by the 2 McLarens and the Red Bull in front of us as well. So let's see if Sol Dixon can make those places back. Definitely had good pace in the early phases of this Grand Prix as well. Headed on to lap 5 out of 29. And Sol Dixon, that's the easy pass there to put himself into P4. We don't really see moves being made on this straight unless you're super close on different sides, of course. But that was just the same, simply just walk past me and go. But let's see then what Sol Dixon could do. Let's see if he try and remain focused and calm, because that's what probably has cost him a little bit as well, because when people make mistakes, they tend to make more and more mistakes, and therefore just can't seem to get the best performance. But crucially, he's still in this DRS train. The DRS train pack has been split into 2 groups now, because Lights is P6, 1.5 seconds away. Can he catch that? It's been very difficult, especially with the 3 and 4 DRS zones around here, as Basic Beetle picks himself up a second time, unfortunately. But any moves being made on this straight, Bjorn doesn't want to go for it yet. He just wants to have Jumpy Painter in front of him and set himself up nicely towards the end. It's all about where you are in these key stages of a race as well, whether you're first in the DRS, second in the DRS train. You want to plan your attacks coordinately as well to try and get your rival, but there's still a long way to go. Anything could happen. And also, Duct Tape, welcome me like a ding. Donkey ball.
Good to have him in the chat as well. But now it's reduced to a 4-way fight between the Kick-Saubers and the McLarens, because Nexus has also dropped behind. He had such a strong opening start, but he's now onto the grass almost as well, as he almost loses the car. But he's down to P5, 1.8 seconds behind, struggling for grip now, it seems, in the Red Bull with a great opening stage, but he's now fallen behind, unfortunately for him. Sol Demon setting the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.0. All of them on the medium compound tire, but look how close they are together. The 2 Saubers and the 2 McLarens, 4-way fight for race lead. Born is gonna close the gap. He's gonna have a go, not quite staying behind Jumpy Painter for now. Toto is also having a look in the background. These 4 are so close to each other as TXT has retired from the session. I think that is in pit lane, so no virtual safety car or safety car deployed. That's going to be our first retirement of the race, unfortunately for the Haas, as they are out of this race. If you now go on to the back straight, Jumpy Painter leads ahead of Born, but for how much longer is Born going to have a go? I think he is, with the help of DRS, and here's close to the outside line of the Kick-Sauber. Toto's going having a look as well, almost going in between the middle of them, and the 2 McLarens get past Jumpy Painters and McLaren 1-2, just like in real life for the most of the Grand Prix. Born leads ahead of Toto, then it's Jumpy Painter and Sol Demon, as they have swapped around a little bit, but it's now McLaren ahead of Kick-Sauber.
Yeah, you can see the pain there that the Sauber driver has been caused, because now he's released both McLarens who could work together. It's McLaren versus Sauber, the top 4 to 5. Nexus has dropped back quite dramatically as well. I don't know what happened to him, but he just seemed to lose a lot of pace in that Red Bull then. I think TTV will be able to back him soon. You can see him just struggling now and then as we head on the main straight. So it's down to these 4. I dare say the early stages to predict that these 4 have a very good chance of winning now. They're left alone and they can fight amongst themselves. It's the 2 different teams, Kick-Sauber Ferrari versus the McLaren, the Papaya Orange as well. They took the Australian Grand Prix. Lando Norris won the Australian Grand Prix. There's a safety car, mate. What's happened there?
I think Rostock has gone off like George Russell a few years ago in 2023, 2024. In the same corner, and he's lost his front wing, and I think that is what caused the safety car. So yeah, we just had these 4 fighting out for the race win, but that gap towards the rest of the field is going to be reduced to absolute zero. So there's plenty of chances for the rest of the field now, as we have a safety car on lap 7 of this race. First safety car of the race. We had a virtual safety car before, but now we have a full safety car. What does that mean for the strategy? We had one in tier 1 yesterday around lap 5, and the majority who started on mediums pitted onto the hard, so I reckon we're going to see drivers doing that as well right now. Will we see that? We got a lot of medium runners in this race. Will they pit and put on a fresh set of hard compound tires? 22 laps should be doable though on the hard compound tires, so I think that is the strategy we want to go for. Lap 7, 22 to go, and Born, he is going to pull into the pit lane. So is his teammate there. We're going to have to double stack the McLarens and the Saubers, so Soul Demon will drop behind a little bit, I think behind Nexus at least. So strategies have been thrown away a little bit because of this safety car. Born in, Tolu, everyone is in except for Zyro, who started on the hards, and he inherits now the race lead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for those people on the hard compound tires, like you said, because their strategy has been blown out of proportion. Unfortunately, the safety cars arrived a bit too early, so the people have been not gifted, but treated nicely to go from mediums to hards now, as the hard compound tires are so durable. They shouldn't have any problems. They could probably do the whole race if they wanted to without that rule, as Science gets himself up his drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car, which I don't know how you do, because you're supposed to be slow on the safety car. But there's a bit of a gap between Bjorn and a Karator there as well, obviously, because they just crashed. Those two just caught up. So the top two have a pitted jet. So let's see then what happens, because it can be a very hectic safety car restart when you have people in front of you on all the tires. You want to make the move as quickly as you can. Try and risk it all, and try and give the guys behind as well. So Bjorn needs to dispatch these two cars quickly, get them out of the way, and continue his fight. But that means no undercuts. That safety car has not really jumbled things up, because the strategy was out of the window for one of the Sauber drivers who just pitted a lap before. But yeah, now the on a level play field, no undercuts, no overcuts. He's just down to the race towards the end between all these guys on the hard compound tires. Let's see what happens in the next couple of stages. But it's only lap 8, only lap 8.
Indeed, anything can happen, and it usually does. It's what I used to say in tier 3. We have a combination of tier 3 and tier 4 tires. So we've got everyone on the hard compound tires except Scorter in P13. He is pitted onto a new set of mediums, so we know that he will have to pit again at some point in this race. And same goes for Rostock, who I think caused this safety car, as Switchterry is stationary going into turn 11. Not sure what happened there, but yeah, everyone else on the mediums, on the hard compound tires, I should say, except for those two. And we got a few on hards who has stayed out, who have started on those tires, so Zaro, Carnator, and also Zelix in the Aston Martin down in P11. He has stayed out, and Ben Boy, I think he had pitted on the first lap. Zelix is going to go into the pit lane now, so I think he is going to have to switch on a set of mediums, forcing him into a two-stop basically, because 22 laps is not possible on the mediums. They are going to be very worn out by the end of it, as they usually go around 15-16 laps, I think, until you really start feeling the effects. So it's a predicament for him to when he will pit, but we know that another safety car is just around the corner. It can happen, especially when the field is bunched up again like it is at the end of this safety car. I think it will go in at the end of this lap, as Zyro is got sandwiched between the safety car and Carnator. A bit of contact, but unfortunately no damage, no penalties. We got 20 laps to go after this. Still a long way to go, but anything can happen. Let's see what will happen.
Indeed, we saw that the Australian Grand Prix, anything could change. It looked like here McLaren had a certainty 1-2, but the safety car caused by Fernando Alonso lap 36. That completely swung things around and roundabouts as well. What a race that was. I haven't really had much chance to talk about it, but whilst there's a bit of a lull, the Australian Grand Prix, the first one of the season, seems right to me. It's just a very good crowd, good atmosphere, very good season opener as well, even if the races are boring. But this year in Formula 1, it definitely wasn't boring, especially with the weather conditions. Rookies going out left, right and centre. Isaac Hadjar, Jack Doohan, Carlos Sainz, but Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso as well. And Gabriel Bortoletto, as his right rear suspension broke on him at the time. But it was a great scrap. The McLarens versus Red Bull, or Max Verstappen, I must say. But it's a massive shame what happened to Oscar Piastri on turn 13. What could it have been to try and get a podium in his home Grand Prix, or try and win the race? I have no idea. idea who could have won those two in terms of Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri. But yeah, Red Bull don't seem to have the pace for Ferrari, constantly mucking up their strategies as well, so that's nothing new to them. But the safety car has basically beat or gets a 3-second penalty. Over to you, Milan, because the safety car is coming in.
Yeah, and he basically put a 10-second time penalty for a collision. That is very unfortunate, but safety car is going in as it pulls in onto the right-hand side and is up to Zyro, another Aston Martin to decide the pace as he rounds out the final corner. And there we go for green flag racing. 20 laps to go. Zyro and Carnator, there are two drivers who have stayed out on the hard compound tires that they are started on. Everyone behind is on a brand new set of hard compound tires, and Bourne is already trying to have a look at Carnator. He is our net race leader. Jumpy Paint is having a look up the inside of the McLaren in the background, and someone's going off. Oof. Not sure who that was. I think Toto in the McLaren, the other McLaren, has had a moment and he is out. He's not out, but he's into the wall. He spun, I think, and he's got damage to his front wing. And so is Roslock is up as well, and he's retired now from the session. But Zyro leads still ahead of Carnator. No DRS on this lap. It will be reported on next, but look how close Jumpy Painter is to the back of the Red Bull. He's going to pull alongside. He's got ahead of Bourne, and he's going to get ahead of the Red Bull as well. Jumpy Painter up to second place, and now he's only got one car ahead of him, and Bourne knows that he needs to get past the Red Bull as well as soon as possible. Because if Jumpy Painter gets ahead of these two, as the Red Bull all out of shape, and that is Bourne up the inside, almost losing the car. He saves it, but losing a bunch of positions. Nexus now gets ahead, and the Soul Demon up the inside of the Red Bull almost. But it's all kicking off on this safety car restart. Jumpy Painter's not got a 1 second towards Nexus, but he's at the back of Zyro, getting held up in this final sector. Zyro in the lead of the rest, but for how much longer? As Jumpy Painter very close to the back of the Aston Martin is going to pull alongside, and on the lap of the safety car restart, Jumpy Painter is back into the lead of this race as DRS has been enabled.
It has indeed then, so crucially Nexus got himself back in DRS after all that carnage and scrum going on down towards the last few corners of that sector as well on lap 10, so it almost put the DRS, but they're back together once again as, you know what, TTV Zyro in P2 did a really good job so far on the older hard compound tires. I thought it gets swallowed up, and there's still some good life left in those hards. They're very durable, but not ideal, especially with guys on much newer tires right behind you. They're fighting for the race lead, Nexus Soul. They want to dispatch Zyro immediately, who gets a 3-second penalty as well to add to his woes and miserably join this Grand Prix, and now he has to suffer with a penalty. But let's see, can Nexus make his way through quickly? He has. He can't afford to get stuck behind the Alpine driver, the Aston Martin side. They go wheel to wheel. Here comes Saul Dixon around the outside. There was contact. He now goes around the outside and turn on in turn 10. He makes the move stick, but unfortunately for the half runner of Zyro, had to take a bit of pain there as well, because he got bogged down in the exit turn 10 and turn 11 there. Huge consequences for this Grand Prix, but now at least these three are back together, because Sol was desperate to make the move. He did not want to wait behind the RP driver for any longer than he would have loved to. And look at that, Jumpy Painter has broken the DRS. The gap is 1.2, so despite Nexus having DRS on that lap, didn't get inside of it, so Sol Dixon now will take P2 away and try and get himself in towards DRS range, try and get his teammates. But there's a second dose of DRS, remember, there's only one detention point for 2 DRS zones around here. That's the start finish straight, of course, heading down all the way down towards turn 3, that heavy breakers over here. Rubens Barrichello tumbled over as well, famously in the past, so did Martin Bundle. And Fernando Alonso back in 2016, that's the biggest shunt I've seen as well. But Sol then, almost in DRS range of his teammate. He has to get it right now, otherwise he'll lose that chance if he doesn't. And Skull goes ahead of Zyro, so Zyro's been chopped down the order dramatically, and Sol Dixon is just thereabouts of getting in DRS range. I think he is in DRS range now of his own teammate, so he can use that to his advantage, but he hasn't opened it. He actually hasn't got DRS. Now he has. Sorry, that detection point line was way further than I thought it was, so my bad about that one. But now we're coming towards turn 9 and turn 10. No moves being made, but now Sol Dixon behind his teammates, he could think about saving EOS, because he had to use a lot of EOS to get himself back in DRS range, but now he has to save some of it up, ready for the attack or defense, depends where you are later on in the Grand Prix.
Lemon has had a moment on the back straight. He's got front wing damage as well, so something has happened to the V-Carb as he has gone off then. But at the front end, Jumpy Painter leads, but his gap towards the rest has been reduced to under a second, which is not ideal for his chances of wanting to win this race. As Soul Demon goes very wide coming out of the final corner, and he hugged the wall on the exit as well, but he does set the fastest lap of the race with the help of the quadruple DRS he had on this lap. He is now very close to the back of his teammate once again. And once again down to a 4-way fight, but instead of Tolu is being replaced by Nexus. So it's not 2 teams anymore, it's 3 now. The 2 Saubers, Red Bull of the Nexus and the McLaren of Born. And it's a 3-second gap to Skolker, who has done a very good job indeed as well in this race so far. He's just ahead of Lance. Carnator still on his old hard compound tires, is running in P7. And then it's Carter on the mediums to Sterry, who was in a podium position at the beginning of this race, the very beginning of this race, is P9, trying to make something of his race, and Zyro has been down to P10, so even behind Carnator. So Zyro seems to be really struggling after that incident he had with Soul Demon, I think. So we're on lap 13, and Nexus is going to have a go at Soul Demon. He's going to get past on the final DRS straight. He's up into second place, finds himself now in between the kick Saubers as he underbraking as the car is sideways into turn 11. Jumpy Painter in the lead, Nexus in second within 6/10 of the kick Sauber in front. Soul Demon in P3 and Born in P4 as we near the halfway point of this race. Jumpy Painter leads, but I reckon these 4 will be swapping around once again, and Soul Demon closing the gap, but choosing not to go for the move just yet. Jumpy leads, Nexus, Soul Demon and Born, and Soul Demon having a go almost at the Red Bull as he's having a go on the inside, but he's not going to go for it. Stays behind for now, and we'll have to try again later on this lap.
Yeah, well, there's a McLaren of the orange back to the back as well. So it's the top 4 as this is I think it's a retired in pit lane, so there's no safety car deployed on that occasion. But somehow these guys are going side by side in towards turn 5, and the Lion stays ahead. But here comes Skill Killer, who is right behind him, but will not make an overtake just yet. He waits for the DRS patiently as he doesn't want his rivals to get back of him, especially on the older tyres. Here we go down this back straight. A lot of people struggling with the ERS management, so that's what might cost him towards the end, because these always contact between Saul Dixman and the Nexus there. What happened there? I think he went a bit too slow in the corner for Saul Dixman's liking there. No one's fault, of course, but that's racing. I think you know adapt to the speed as well down towards the corners. But I don't think he anticipated that. As he goes off into the grab ball, he's in the face of the wall. He's out of the Grand Prix. Unbelievable! A small crash like that has caused a safety car. Can you believe it? Which now changes the whole trajectory of this race. Then anybody go for a pit stop? Anybody compound tires? We're about to find out right now. They stay out there on the hard compound tires. They're comfortable to go through as well. But what a shame for Souls there. Just lost it in the gravel trap. Then the car the back of the car just massively wheel spinned and complained, and therefore sent him in the barriers there. What a shame. That's one of the smallest crashes I've seen so far. But yeah, he's out of the Grand Prix. It is Saul Dixon. So let's talk about Australia again while we've got a chance. Well, we are in Australia right now, but yeah, the Australian Grand Prix. What a fantastic race that was. Started in wet conditions, of course, as the rookies had to negotiate that well. As Isaac Hadjar, who unfortunately spun and hit the barriers on the formation lap. Anthony Hamilton was there to give him a very class representation indeed of what Hamilton is all about. And also as well, both McLarens would have a talk. It was a fantastic race with McLaren, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, of course. All 3 of them did a fantastic job, but it all started spicing up when that safety car came out due to Fernando Alonso's crash, and that's when things got different indeed, with everybody else in different places. And let's see what's going to happen towards the end of the Grand Prix. So the guys 8th downwards have all gone for the medium compound tyres. Could they be the ones to watch out for as well towards the last few laps of the Grand Prix? The fresher medium compound tyres, of course. Truge is on the hards, interestingly, so I'm quite sure what that strategy play there is for Truge. He's done medium, hard, so I don't think he had another set of mediums to use. I suppose on neither soft compound tyres either. But yeah, that race, season open, exactly what we needed to get ourselves boosted and confident season. Obviously, McLaren do look the favourites, there's no question about it, of course, but can the likes of Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari catch up? Yeah, Oscar Piastri went off down at the turn 13. That's a massive shame for him, because my heart did really sink for him on that day as well. When it happened.
Skolker has crashed on their safety car there. Sorry to interrupt you there, but coming out of turn 11, just went on to the right hand side of the track and sphered into the wall. And that is front wing damage for the Haas, who was doing so well in this race, and that is very unfortunate indeed, as he has to pit. Fortunately, it is under a safety car. That is going to drop him all the way down the order. That is very, very unlucky.
Yeah, it is indeed. They just dropped it. I've done it before as well, but I've dropped it. It's a very silly thing to do. As he retired the pit lane, so he's called it quits. It is a social race, or unofficial race, it must be said. But yeah, the Australian Grand Prix there, what a fantastic race. Just actually passed on the whole race. We saw a lot of people in different places at the time with the strategies on the pit wall. But unfortunately, Ferrari being the same old Ferrari, not going to go to the pit lane and put themselves into and drop all the way back there. But yeah, chopping and changing the bit. It was a fantastic last few laps between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, four-time champion. Oh no!
Oh, it's broadcast mode. Oh well. Let's talk about the race. We had many drivers doing well actually. Well, a bit under the radar they went. Of course, Antonelli didn't go under the radar in P4 on his debut, P16 to P4, which is the same race, the same way that Hamilton finished his career at Mercedes at Abu Dhabi, P6 to P4, and that is how Antonelli starts his career with Mercedes, P6 to P4. Very well done from him. Albon in the Williams in P5. Carlos Sainz said before the weekend that Williams were never going to get a top 5 in the season at all, and Albon proved them wrong by getting a P5 in the season opener. Also, Lance Stroll, must be said, very well done from him to keep it on track while his experienced teammate Fernando Alonso hit the wall. Lance Stroll finished in an excellent 6th place, and Nico Hulkenberg in P7 in the Sauber, getting more points than Sauber did over the entirety of 2024. And getting more points than the entire team of Ferrari in the first race. Worst start of the season for Ferrari since 2009, where they scored 0 points.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have the pace. They just didn't get the strategy right. Also, with Charles Leclerc, his hilarious sport radio with its engineer about the water in his cockpit. I don't know if you heard that one.
Oh, who hasn't heard about the words water in the cockpit? There must be no water, says Roy, and that's the words of wisdom, says Charles Leclerc. But yeah, there was another funny comment somebody made. I just had it in my head that something else happened in Australia was quite funny, but I can't seem to remember. So that's disappeared out of my head already. But Roy broadcaster mode has been. Oh no! How on earth is the AI? How on earth is an AI doing this for? Like pick up penalties? Oh, sorry, it's not AI, is it? I'm back to normal conditions. So sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I think it must be a glitch as he got it under safety car in broadcast mode. I'm not sure what happened, but oh well. It's only an unofficial race, so at least it's not that dramatic for the championship. As Jumpy Painter trying to warm his tires, it's become very difficult on this game to warm your tires ever since they patched it. Not sure what's happening behind with Boyer as he spins into the pit lane, almost into the wall, and he spins now on the exit, and Boyer into the wall at the safety car restart.
No safety car applied on that occasion then, so we continue to get racing once again. But Jumpy Gamer versus Nexus then for the battle of the lead. There was 3 people behind him who have picked themselves up a 3-second time penalty then, so there's no chance for them to be on the podium or winning. I think the Williams of Troy just got a good chance as well. Ben Wally has overtaken the RB driver of Iron Melly, and Ben Wally goes through 2 as Scorter has been overtaken by Carator, who's in P6 now. Carontor, as we enter turn 2 and turn 3. Sorry about that, turn 6 and turn 7, but it's still Jumpy Gamer in the lead of the Grand Prix by 8/10, so he's actually stretching the advantage. Can he break away from DRS? Can he finally get clear? He's been leading the majority of it, if not been in second place as well, just waiting for the opportunity to break away from the DRS and pull away. But so far, it is Nexus who's struggling to keep himself in DRS range there. It is Jumpy Gamer's absolutely good for it as well, just trying to get himself out of DRS, which he has done now, so the gap is 1.1 between Nexus as Trush goes down the inside. There's a RB or Williams off the chance of Alpine, and here comes the Alpine around the outside. That's his Shush Football FC, who puts himself up into 4th place. There's more contact between these guys, the RB, the other RB, and the Ferrari just behind us as well as we exit the final corner. Huge this is. Look at this battle there. The Alpine backs off. I don't know why he did that. He has no DRS at all, but none of these guys have DRS just yet. Why didn't they open the DRS? What happened there?
I'm not sure what happened. It's all kicking off at the safety car restart. That's the Alpine going wheel to wheel with the V-Cup in the background. Lemon and Shashuba made a bit of contact between the two. It's absolute carnage. As we also saw Carnator having a moment and taking out both of the Aston Martins in the process, which he couldn't do as he went into the grass. But Ben Molly in P5 behind Bruce Terry. Then it's Shashuba and Lemon, Scorter, Tolu and Carnator rounding out the top 10. Both Zelix and Born into the pit. And of course Born, who absolutely bottled that safety car restart as he crashed coming out of the final corner. He's down in P11. Now we've got Jumpy Painter well ahead of Nexus, and Nexus also with a 3-second time penalty. It's almost 2 seconds now, so surely Jumper Painter can't bottle this one. But we're going fighting in the background once again, 2 by 2 as we go into turn 9 and 10. FC picks up a 3-second time penalty. She cuts the track a little bit too much. Tolu is trying to come back in this race after his incident earlier on. He's down in P7, but he could potentially get himself into the top 5 as he's got no track limit penalty, and cars ahead of him do have a penalty. Just for FC in P8 ahead of Scorto on the mediums, but Ben Wally and Lemon, those two are on mediums, and they're both in P5 and P6, but we have seen that Ben had a 10-second time penalty under safety car, unfortunately for him. But then let's take a look at Nexus. He's dropped behind even further now, 3.5 seconds. He's so quick at the beginning of a stint, and then he drops back so quickly after that, as he's coming into the clutches now of Lennon's. The gap is almost under a second now, and Lennon's, although under braking, sliding around ahead of Twitch Terry, and then there's the 2 V cups. So there's a battle heating up now for P4 and potentially P3 or P2. Are you there still?
Sorry about that, yeah, so I said that Tuj knows that Lions has a 3-second time penalty, so therefore he knows he can get the podium. It's all about keeping the guys behind who do not have penalties and making sure they stay ahead of them in the last upcoming laps of this Grand Prix as well. So the gap extends between Jumpy, Painter and Nexus in P1 and P2. Then what a fantastic drive. Ever since he broke out the DRS range, he looks unstoppable so far, and indeed he is as well. The Williams is actually catching Nexus as well. Goes a bit wide at turn 11, did Nexus there, so he lost the car a bit on the exit, but still keeps it going, and now he's got a whole gaggle of cars right behind him ready to take on the PC action. There is about 9 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. It's your leader, Jumpy Boy, is first place, and look at this then, in the background, go off by Wally as we head down towards turn 1. Here comes Truge on Langster as he puts himself into P2. Great move down towards turn 1 indeed between these guys, and Shush Football has retired unfortunately out of this Grand Prix, so that's his race done and dusted there, and we're down towards 11 people now in this race, so almost half the grid is gone, just like 2015 Australia when half the grid went missing due to power unit issues or crash or whatever. That was a huge year for reliability, being very, very poor, except for Mercedes of course.
It's becoming a race of attrition now tonight. We've got 8 laps to go, or including this one, it will be 9. But let's see, Tolu has found himself now up into the top 5, and he could be looking at a podium position, potentially even P2, because Twitch Terry is still just ahead of him a few hundredths or a few tenths of a second. He's in P2 right now, ahead of Nexus, who is trying to follow the Williams, but he has dropped off significantly pace-wise. Jump Painter is out in front. He's in a very comfortable position, 5 seconds almost clear of anyone, so he could just cruise it towards the finish line with 8 laps to go. But the battle is there for second place. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars fighting potentially for that second place or a spot on the podium. But there's only 2 drivers who can get those remaining 2 spots on the podium. Currently, Toursterry looking very handy indeed, and Tolu as well, as those 2 drivers have not got themselves a 3-second time penalty. As Tolu gets past Lennon's on the main straight as well to put himself up into a 4th position, trying to get back into the podium position where he was fighting earlier on in this race. He's now into P4. The car ahead of him has a penalty, and he knows that, so he doesn't need to get past, but he sure wants to get past on track for satisfaction. But Twitch Terry is still in front, but he got Nexus following him very, very closely behind, 0.2 of a second as yellow flags out, and Born is into the grass like we saw Oscar Piastri do on the other side of the track. Born is going to pull into the pit lane. Is that going to be another retirement? Are we really going to go down to 10 drivers? We're about to find out. Born into the pit lane, but Jumpy Painter well ahead on the lead, and Born indeed is out of the race.
Yes, Nexus puts himself into P2 then, so he gets back ahead of the Williams driver there. But the Williams, like you said, knows he's got a penalty. He wants to win on track, of course. We all want to win on track because it feels more deserved and a lot more prideful as well. Here comes Ben Wally on IML, and both RB drivers have been in the thick of it during this Grand Prix as well, with them making contact and losing the car. But it's still in P6 and P7 do have a 3-second time penalty to those 2 as well. So that's going to hinder them. In fact, Ben Wally's got a 13-second time penalty. And also, as we see that the McLaren has been swamped there, as I think Lennox has overtaken it for P4. But look at this, Scrooge is right behind Nexus as they go wheel to wheel as we head down towards turn 1. The Williams comfortably comfortably put his car into P2 as Tolo stays ahead of Langster as Iron Melon gets another 3-second time penalty. While your man in the Kickstarter is still leading by 5.1 seconds, the gap is extended, so nobody is troubling the Sauber tonight. It's all down to these guys to see who will end up on the podium. Maybe Scorton at the P8. He doesn't have he doesn't have a penalty just yet either, so he could climb his way up the field dramatically. But so far, this is the battle we're seeing from P2 all the way down to P7 there to see who will get second and third in this Grand Prix.
Indeed, Twitch Terry still now in second place, just about 5 seconds behind Jumpy Painter, and we could see Nexus and Tolu going wheel to wheel, and Tolu gets past Nexus, and I think it was Tolu who hit Lennon's at the end of the previous lap, which sent the McLaren a bit round, losing in position, or he hit Nexus. I'm not sure either one of those, but that is what dropped him behind temporarily. But he's now got back ahead of Nexus, and he's on P3, and he can now chase after Twitch Terry as Nexus, getting very loose coming out of turn 11. But I think it's going to be between these two drivers, Twitch Terry and Tolu, for the final spots on the podium, as Jumpy Painter is very far out of sight for them to get the win. Scorder is down in P8 without a penalty as the other of 4 drivers without a penalty, but he is almost 3 seconds behind the next car in front of him, so it will be very difficult for him to gain a position, especially when the cars in front have a DRS 4 times a lap. We've got 5 laps to go after this one. Jumpy Painter seems to be on for a victory, but is it going to be Twitch Terry or Tolu who's going to get second place? Nexus has already dropped out of DRS range, so it's been reduced for a battle for P4 between themselves, Lennon's, Ben Wally and Lemon.
5 laps left to go, and as you can see, 4 people do not have penalties, and that could really promote Scorter up the order as well. Try and get as many points as you can, but that doesn't really matter because it is an unofficial race, so it doesn't really matter. But you're going to race it, you're going to fight for pride. That's what we all do as well. You can see that the positions ahead of you are there to be gained because people in front of you have a 3-second penalty, so that gives you more motivation and confidence as well. As Tooch gets a second a time penalty there, so Tolo will finish in P2 on the track, unless himself, of course, picks himself up a penalty. So it looks like there's one more spot left for the podium now with a level playing field, but there's still at the DRS range of the guys behind as Zykes picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. We're heading on to lap 24 or 25 out of 9. We've got 4 more laps left to go here in Australia, and so far Jumpy Painter has had his all way ever since he got rid of his teammates as well. So Dixon, the RB drivers as well, the Red Bull that kept getting his nerves, and McLaren and beyond as well. Ever since those guys have had their own problems during this Grand Prix, Jumpy Painter has been the one to capitalise and take that crown away from him, and once again doing a fantastic job as we go down towards turn 3 then. So Tolo is still behind Truge for the time being then, but he doesn't have anything to worry about because the guy behind him, Nexus, is struggling there on his tyres once again then. They're only 17 lap old, but he is struggling and he's dropping away from the guys ahead as well. So it's, looks like Truge will finish on the podium as well as Scorter picks himself up a 3-second a time penalty. Here comes Tolo now on the back of Truge. He puts himself into P2. Nice easy overtake as well with a second helping hand of DRS on the back straight. But Jumpy Painter did a mega job. I don't think he's got anything to worry about. All he needs to do now is bring it home. Don't take any risks out there. Don't go out wide because you don't need to, or make any silly mistakes, because I know when people leave the Grand Prix for the first time, it can get overwhelming as well. You start to make mistakes because the pressure is ramping in. But professional people, they can manage to stay calm and composed throughout the whole of it, no matter what is going on during the race then. As Jumpy Painter makes his way around the final quarter to start lap 26 out of a 29 in this race then. The field has been quite spread, it must be said. Nobody really close enough on each other except Truge and Tolo. Nexus and Lynx there, P5 and P6, just catching on to the back of his DRS train as well. Iron the Melon has lost the DRS train, so he could be vulnerable down to P7 there. Scorter might have him for company as we head down towards turn 3 we go. The Williams looking for a move, but he's too far back, and here comes the Alpine and Lennox side by side with Nexus as we head down towards turn 3. Wheel to wheel, barely any moves given, but he's about to go around the outside into towards turn 5. He makes his stick somehow, and the Red Bull driver, so thankfully, did not end up in a wall there, because that could be very nasty for his race ender like that, as it was for Kazuki Nakajima back in 2008 when he crashed there in turn 5. And Konotor has picked himself up as 3-second penalty, whilst Truge and Tolo swap places for second and third.
So Twitch Terry will have to hope that Tolo gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That's all he can do to pick up his second place, but it's not looking very likely right now. Tolo, he is in P3, but he knows if he just keeps it within the white lines, that P2 will be his in this race. Nexus, he is right behind Lennon's. These two are fighting for position because they both have a 3-second time penalty. That's another place to go up the inside. He tries to go for it. Now Ben Wally's going to have to go around the outside potentially of turn 13, but that is not going to work out. And he stays in P6 right now. Lemon, he is 3 seconds behind. He's also got a 12-second time penalty. Ben Wally's got a 13-second time penalty. So they are pretty much restricted to the 6th and 7th place and will probably drop behind Squirter as Nexus gets past the Alpine into turn 1. The gap has got 4 seconds now towards Toto, so it'll definitely be P4 as Lennon's having a go once again up the inside. He's got Ben Body round his outside for company. It's a bit of a contact between the Alpine and the Red Bull. Whoa, Lennon's on the exit, has dropped it, and he hit the wall slightly and has that compromised his chances of fighting for P4. He's now got a car in between himself and Nexus, and he's also almost dropping out of the arrest range as we look at Tolu once again. And he's going to fly past the Williams. He gets up into 2nd place. We've got 2 laps to go after this one. Jumpy Painter leads, but he's still got 5 seconds towards Tolu, and neither of them have a 3-second time penalty. Swoosh Terry looks very comfortable in that 3rd place. Has yellow flags, and the Aston Martin of Zenix is into the wall. He's got front wing damage as well. Not the day he would have wanted in the Aston Martin. He's down in P10 as Jumpy Painter has now lapped the Aston Martin as well. As we go on to lap 28, the penultimate lap of this race. Jumpy Painter for sure is going to win this one. Is Tolu going to be able to keep it within the white lines and maintain 2nd place? To unmute.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So basically then, it's the battle between P2 and P3, but obviously we know who's going to win that battle because Tolo doesn't have a 3-second time penalty. But look at this, the RB and the Red Bull then. Ben Wally looking very interested in this Grand Prix as well. Didn't have a great qualifying position. He's actually going on the outside, in towards turn 3 we go. Can he make it stick? Let's have a look right now to see if he can. There's more contact between the two as eventually Nexus picks up a 3-second time penalty, and also Ben Wally's been demoted down in 7th place there. I'd say he had a bad qualifying, but he started in 9th place, wasn't overly bad, but showing some good pace still. So the gap keeps stabilising at 5 seconds between Jumpy Painter and also Tolo. We know that nothing's going to happen between 1st and 2nd there, but it still could happen any time moment in 3rd, 2nd and 3rd, because you never know if Tolo might pick up a penalty on the last lap of the Grand Prix, but I'll be very unwise to do so now, making it all this way without picking up any penalties at all as well. So Truge then, what can he do? He might just have to settle for P3 because he knows the inevitable will be coming very shortly. But over to you, Milan, to commentate for this final lap of the Grand Prix, where Jumpy Painter is heading around the final corner to make his way one last time around here in Australia.
Indeed, Scored unfortunately has left the session, so he won't be participating on this final lap. But indeed, Jumpy Painter leads onto the final lap of this race. He's got 5 seconds towards Tolu. He just needs to keep it on the track, and that victory will be his. Tolu needs to keep it within the white lines, and that 2nd place will be his. Twitch Terry is pretty much safe in P3. Nexus, as he picked up another 3-second time penalty in the last lap, so Lennon's, if he just keeps it within the white lines, will be getting that P4 ahead of the Red Bull driver. But Jumpy Painter making his way through the middle sector, through turns 6 and 7 and into 8, flat out towards the very quick turn 9-10 chicane. It can be taken flat out in qualifying with the right setup. In the race, not so much with the fuel load and the difference in tires as well. Jumpy Painter, let's take a look how he handles this very quick chicane. Very nice as he hugs the inside curbs on both occasions. Now in the final sector, on this final DRS, well, we will not have the DRS as Lennons has got a Twitch Terry. Twitch Terry has spun in the turn 9-10 chicane, and his chances of the podium are gone. Lennons will take it, who's got ahead of Nixus. Tolu is safe in 2nd place, but we're going to look at this man, Jumpy Painter. It's an unofficial race, but I'm sure it will feel pretty nice as he slides his way around the final corner. Jumpy Painter from pole position is going to convert it into a race win as he wins the Australian Grand Prix. Tolu, the winner of the previous race at Saudi Arabia, will finish 2nd. Nexus got ahead of Lennons, who's had a moment, but it doesn't matter. He's only got a 3-second time penalty. Nexus will cross the line in P3, but he will drop down. Lennons will take that final spot on the podium ahead of Twitch Terry, who bottled into the final lap. Not sure what happened. Maybe did he make contact with himself and Tolu? We will never know. He's got damage, but he does finish in P4, just under a 10th, ahead of Nexus in P5, and Ben Wally in 6th, ahead of Lemon. Carnotaur will come home in 8th. Scorder and Zenix, the only 2 remaining survivors in this race. But Jumpy Painter is your race winner.
Well done to Jumpy Painter there, started on pole and finished it at the top end as well. So well done to him for securing that victory. Had a lot of pressure from behind and managed to sustain it really well. Other people made mistakes and they dropped backwards as well, so it was a massive shame that those guys dropped backwards as well during that particular part of the Yeah, particular part of the racetrack there. But Carnosaur is your driver of the day. But yeah, there's your clarifications then. I'm very excited for the next upcoming races. It is my first time here as well, so just trying to get to know, or try to like understand the drivers, etc., how this works, and yeah, hopefully I can pick up my feet very soon because I really want to get more involved here in F1 Broke, boys.
And we'd love to have you around there as well. Yeah, that it will come in time. Taking a little bit of experience into a new league is always different, but you're doing a very good job indeed, I will say, in this race, and I really enjoyed it commentating alongside you once more for this unofficial race. It's actually a pretty good time to, it's a bit of practice for a real race to start off with an unofficial race, but I am very excited in working together with you in the remainder of this season. But here are the final results of this race. Jumpy Painter has won from pole position. The fast lap did go to Tolu, but it doesn't matter. These are not there. This is not a race that counts for points. But I'm sure the drivers had fun. It was very, very chaotic. But yeah, it was a good race, regardless, with a good battle at some point during the race. Well done to Jumpy Painter, and thank you everyone for participating in this race, for putting on a show after the races of Tier 3 and Tier 4 unfortunately got cancelled. But we will be back next week for the real deal, and it will be a mystery round next week. So we got a couple of tracks who can be the mystery round, and that is going to be very exciting as well. But that's it then for tonight, and thank you all for being out, and thank you, Jamie, as well, for being alongside here tonight.
Milan as well, yeah. Before you end the stream, mate, I just want to say what a fantastic job you've done as well in terms of this league and commentator. Your commentator, I was listening to that. That's why I had myself on mute. But the way you described things, it was very, very good as well. Great call outs to the battles. You did a fantastic job as a commentator. That's why I'm so glad to be working with you, because every single time we do commentating, if it's this league or other leagues we do, it's always been an absolute pleasure as well to step in the comments box with somebody like you who's a really highly top tier commentator, especially as a Dutchman as well, because English is not your first language. But yeah, you should be really, really happy with yourself, because you've done a solid job, and the support, the things you do for the guys as well just shows inspiration as well. So yeah, Milan, kind words from me, because you're an absolute legend, mate, and thank you so much for the commentary.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me as well to hear those kind words. And thank you, Martin, as well. He says, thank you both for commentary. It was very fun. We both enjoyed it as well. And I'm very glad that you did as well. But every Dutch person I know speaks better English than most English people, says Kelton. I'm not sure if Jamie agrees with that, maybe.
Every Dutch person I know speaks better English. Yep, I agree. I actually agree with that, because I do agree with that. Being in the UK and seeing what it's like, I definitely agree.
All right, then. That's it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week for the mystery round. I'm very excited, and hopefully we'll put on the show once again. But that's it for tonight. We'll see you guys next week.